if you're trying to be the best and you're not taking daily action towards your goals, you can never be great, because there's a difference between motion and action.
Being aware of it is the first step, and then how do I fix this is the next one.
And that's what Atomic Habits is all about, is setting the foundation for success. You can actually make physical changes in your brain by taking action, but motion is the preparation. Motion is the strategizing, the thinking. They say that bad habits are autocatalytic. It's in your imagination right now.
Well, the universe works in mysterious ways.
I think this is a sign.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to podcast number 2. We're going to be picking up where we left off on Atomic Habits.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Blake. And we're Fresh Fruit.
Yeah.
So we're going to start up with chapter 6. It's about how motivation is overrated, and that the important thing is to design your environment so that it fosters success.
Yeah. I know all about that.
So are there some ways that you're doing that currently?
I have had quite a week of, I guess, kind of like some pullback, man, honestly. Like, my week's kind of been like not going the way I want it to, which is fine because, you got to fail forward.
So I saw your post about that today.
Yeah, man. I found out once you figure out what the patterns are that you need to break, that you have to really sink into the parts that need to break. So found that I've been tested, and I failed the test a little bit, but that's all right. It's figuring out what you need to fix, and then I figured it out. So I figured out that I need more of a schedule, and that I need to schedule myself into I need to schedule time for myself.
I think this is a sign.
The main Dingus wants to be a part of the ball. Like, goodness.
Yeah. So I guess to shape my environment, man, I have to be able to separate from my phone a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I had been putting my phone on Do Not Disturb throughout the day. So it's just I'm getting less notifications. I don't have any notifications on for any of my apps. And I'm going to start putting my phone in the car, not even close to me. And that's something I've struggled with. So I think that's part of it. And then, like I said, scheduling time for the gym. And then that's going to be consistent every day, from 10 to 12 every day. Boom. I'm either working out at the gym or working out at my house or doing yoga or whatever. And then I work 4 days a week. The other 3 days, I'm going to schedule like I'm at work and work on side projects, content, stuff like that. Yeah, so I think that was kind of an important revelation for me. And then any time outside of that, I can use for personal growth, like reading books and whatever, socializing.
And that's what Atomic Habits is all about, is setting the foundation for success. You gotta break down everything that you currently do, as we're all humans and we get caught in all the distractions and temptations of life. You really gotta break it down into what do I want the most and how can I get there.
Exactly. And my life's great, as it is, man, honestly, but I know that there's things that I want to do that just different, I want to do different things. I want to be doing what I'm doing here, but in another country, or be able to drive somewhere in a convertible, but it's coming soon. I think these habit changes are going to be healthy for me. So
for sure. Yeah. And so this first chapter we're talking about today talks about how habits are context dependent. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a library, you're more likely to study. If you're in a bar, probably not going to study.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. For me, there's a lot of things that I need to do as far as getting a streamline of how I want to go throughout my day. The things like leaving reminders on my phone or setting things up in a way that I'll go through. One of the other concepts is about priming your environment. So in advance, just setting yourself up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to use visual cues to do that. It is what triggers you to start a habit.
Okay. So, like, how are you implementing that into your, like, routine, I guess?
Well, I'm starting from the beginning, just like you are. But I want to achieve big things with this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I might be a little in over my head, but over time, I feel like I can really find my groove with everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's how we grow. I mean, we expand our comfort zone. I put out a reel about that a couple of days ago. You know, you're being on the edge of your comfort zone is the best thing you can do, because that's how you expand and you get comfortable doing things you weren't used to. I mean, it's just like learning any other, you know, learning something new. You're obviously not going to be good at it right away, but being consistent with it over and over again, and then like 2 weeks in, becomes second nature. And yeah, that's what habits are all about. And that comes with any discipline, I feel like.
And one way I am using this now is there's the one space, one use theory. So you have a specific part of your room or a specific room in your house where you do a specific thing there. And we have a sunroom here, and I've been using that to go read and take notes.
Nice.
So things like that, you condition your brain when you're in those spaces to do that thing that you do. There's one experiment they talk about of they do a sleep study where they have people only allowed to enter their bedroom when they're going to sleep. They can stay up to be on their phone or whatever, but they have to be in a different room. And what they found is that they improved their sleep quality and their time to go to sleep dramatically. That's
Okay.
takes them to go sleep after their head hits the pillow.
That's definitely something I'm gonna look to implement too, because like oftentimes I'll like meditate in my bed, and meditate is not time to sleep. You know, it is meditate time. So maybe I should seek out another place to meditate. It's a good thing to figure out. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. And other things like picking out a specific park to go read a book, or, you know, you have your gym, your exercise, like whatever it takes to get you locked in on what you're trying to do.
Right. And like, you know, we were talking about environment, and it's like choose somewhere that's at least close, but like somewhere where you're comfortable. I mean, do you have like friends that go to this gym? Then you have someone that you can be accountable with too, you know, like this, just multiple benefits, you know, proximity, and then obviously being comfortable there, is important. But just showing up is the first thing for sure. Yeah. I mean, we're going to cover that later as far with the 2-minute rule. So what's next?
The next chapter is along the same lines. It opens up about how there were Vietnam soldiers that were coming back addicted to heroin, and a lot of them could see overnight changes in that addiction. They could drop it when they got back to family and friends. And so that really breaks down a lot of the things that people theorize about addiction. There's a lot of people who say that addiction is a disease and it's with you forever. And it's really, your environment is such a powerful influence on that.
Right. So based upon like the availability of it and the ease of it, as far as like the drugs and the heroin in Vietnam is what you're referring to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like having the ease and I mean, I imagine their comrades were doing similar things. And then once you got home, you were around family and friends and didn't have that available to you, and it wasn't as cheap. So I assume that, you know, obviously it's a whole different environment, and the habit went away super quick.
Yeah,
Right away.
Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head there, because what this talks about is the secret of self-control. People who have the most self-control are the ones who don't need to use it. Right? People who are in situations like if you have parents that don't allow you to stay up too late, or you have work that requires you to get up at a certain time, or a coach that makes you exercise and be accountable.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, we're all humans, and a lot of times you want to put yourself into a situation where you have no choice but to be just.
I mean, that's facts, dude. Like, I never enjoyed going to the gym until I had a boxing coach tell me, bro, like, do more sit-ups. I think when you're forced to do something, like, I mean, in a group setting or anything, like personal trainer, but I mean, I get a way better workout when someone's like, do this, or, like I said, I have to schedule time for myself. And I think that that's going to be an important change for me. So scheduling that time where like I basically clock in for myself,
Yeah.
and I'm accountable to myself. I think that that's going to be huge for me too. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and habits feed into themselves. So they say that bad habits are autocatalytic. For example, if you show smokers pictures of blackened lungs, or give people who are overeaters, they try to scare them away from eating, that just leads them to double down on their bad habits.
So, but define auto. What is it?
Sorry, autocatalytic means automatically self-destructs.
Okay, so it builds upon itself.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, because if you're watching TV all the time, you're going to feel sluggish. And if you're feeling sluggish, you don't have the energy to do anything else except watch more TV.
Yeah, I can relate, dude.
Right. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people can, me included, for sure. But what that is that's a part of a downward spiral.
Right.
And I talked about that in the last podcast of, I think there's nothing more that causes a downward spiral than alcohol.
Yeah. No, I felt that in my life too, man. And I mean, like, overcoming something like that makes you feel empowered too. So like that's built to the upward spiral too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so in the short term, you can rely on willpower, but in the long run, we're just a product of our environment.
I agree. Change the environment, change your life, man. For sure.
So if you do want to make a habit irresistible, there's stimuli, there's cues. And we're in a world today where we have super stimuli all around us. Like social media is just, everything about it is designed to have us hooked and keep consuming more and more, not even thinking about it. Like junk food, like donuts with extra sprinkles. And we get dopamine from that. The first time we try something, we get dopamine during the action, but the more you do it, the more you get the dopamine from the anticipation of the reward.
Sure.
So we operate based off of that. What drives us to action is those desires. And so what a lot of companies do is they take advantage of a concept called temptations bundling.
Okay.
And that means that you're linking an action that you want to do with something that you need to do.
Yeah.
And there's the example of ABC, the network, with their shows. They would encourage their viewers to, popcorn and pour up some red wine and enjoy their shows.
I'd make it evening of it, rather than just be like, we're going to flip on the TV. It's like, let's make an event of it.
Yeah, so they just want people to associate the things that they want to be doing with their stuff.
Of course.
But we, as people, can think of that. And how can we use that to our advantage? How can we use that to get us to do the things that we need to be doing? And we're going to do a video about habit stacking after we're through with this. But you combine things that, if you're using your phone every day, we all do. Maybe something like do 20 push-ups after you're done using social media.
Right.
So that's combining habit stacking and temptation bundling.
There's an actual app that I've seen, and I don't know the name of it. If I figure it out, maybe we'll link it. Not affiliated, but you put your phone up and you have to do push-ups before you can open your phone. It's like using like Face ID, but it's using push-up ID essentially. So I mean that could be good for some people. Like myself, man, like I can do more push-ups. I think anyone could benefit from more push-ups. But
Yeah, and there's all kinds of apps and programs.
That's something to think about. It's like what could you do to, I mean, essentially reward yourself almost. It's you can reward yourself I did the push-ups. Now I can go on here for 5 minutes and then be accountable to yourself and say like 5 minutes is all, and then do something productive or whatever. Yeah.
Well, the idea is that you eventually look forward to doing the thing that you need.
Right.
Because you associate it with the thing that you want to do.
Correct. And then eventually that reward or the thing that you stacked feels good too.
Because that's
I'm going to start to see results.
seeing those results.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Going into the next chapter, this one is about the role of friends and family, your influences of the people around you. And it goes into the Hungarian man Laszlo Polgar, who theorized that genius is a product of education and training and not about natural talent or ability. And so he had to convince his wife for this, but they had 3 daughters, and he convinced her to allow him to homeschool them and give them an environment that was mainly built around chess.
Okay.
They put successful chess players on the wall and gave them chess books, and the 3 sisters grew up on chess. And between the 3 of them, they had the following achievements. They won a world championship, became the youngest player in the world's top 100 players, became the youngest grandmaster of all time, and the youngest daughter held the world's #1 ranked female player title for 27 years straight.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's really pride in your environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because the thing about that is outside of their household, you were ostracized. You're thought of as being weird for obsessing over chess. But inside of that household, they were praised and encouraged for their successes.
Right.
So the girls actually said that they loved their childhood. That they had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
There's one of my favorite things about that is one of the girls was staying up studying chess, and the dad said, "Sophia, leave the pieces alone." And she said, "But they won't leave me alone. They're up here, man, stuck in my head." Yeah, and that's like Magnus Carlsen, who is everybody knows is the best player. Yeah, he said on the Joe Rogan podcast recently that he still thinks of chess as a hobby because his coaches getting on homework and stuff, but he just loves it. He's obsessing about it. He's thinking about it 24/7 on his own. He doesn't need anyone to force it on him.
Yeah. Rude.
Like Gigas is forcing himself on.
Okay. You can go now. What you got next, brother?
Well, just to finish on that note is that we're social creatures. Our deepest desire is to belong. And who you surround yourself around is incredibly important. And that's really all I had to say on that note. You just want to seek a culture that your desired behaviors are the norm and that you already have common ground with that group. So the next chapter is how to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. And it's really just the way you look at it. Because 2 people can look at the same cigarette and one person can have an urge to smoke it and the other can be repulsed by it.
Sure.
But it's really comes down to viewing it as when you quit, it's a gain. It's not a loss. You're not losing anything. We actually trick ourselves into thinking that we need it because you think you need it to be social. You don't. You're still the same person. You think is easing your anxiety is actually the opposite. Maybe in the moment, but makes your anxiety worse.
Yeah. Are you referring to smoking in general or like just general habits or like?
So I'm just talking about smoking cigarettes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, quitting that habit benefits your health, your energy, money, and it gives you confidence and self-respect.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And most importantly, it impacts the length and quality of your life.
Sure thing.
But a craving is just a specific manifestation of a deeper underlying motive. Okay, so we don't need to think about these things. Like playing video games, the underlying motive is status and accomplishment, respect and being social with other people. Those are the needs that's filling. And there's a little list right here of our underlying motives that we have as humans. Conserving energy, obtaining sustenance, finding love and reproducing, connecting and bonding with others, social acceptance and approval, reducing uncertainty, and achieving status and prestige. And so all of our habit-forming behaviors are formed through these underlying motives.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, man. I think when it comes down to it, we like every action that we question, like whether or not we should continue that action, we should question why we do that action. It's the underlying motive, and that's the simplest form of like figuring out how we get to that. Is just ask yourself, why do I do this? And it's like, why do I want financial freedom? Well, it's so I can feel more secure with myself, or feel secure, like where I don't have to worry anymore about, I don't have to stress about where money's coming from, or like, why do I want this relationship, friendship or whatever, why is this friendship important to me? Is this being a validating thing about me? Is this something I need to question more? You get it. But I think just asking ourselves the question, and then the answer's inside. You just have to like kind of wait for it a little bit.
Yeah, because it circles back to the idea that all of our habits that we choose to do are solutions. They might not be good solutions. It might destroy you, but they're solutions to our problems that we choose nonetheless.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So it also gets into how to reprogram your brain to enjoy hard habits. And the answer to that question is really simple. It's just this simple shift of mindset from saying, I get to do this. Like I get to go to work. I get to clean up this mess. I get to do the dishes. I get to go to the gym.
We have the ability to do this. Some people don't even have the ability to do some of those things. It really is, if you want to take it a step further, you can say, I'm grateful that I get to do this. And then you can add gratitude to it. I'm grateful that I can drive to work. I'm grateful that I have something to eat, like whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then like, I'm grateful that I have the awareness now that this habit is good or bad for me. And the awareness is the first step to breaking the habit, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Just being aware of it. Like, I think some people just float through life. And I mean, I catch myself doing it too. But being aware of it's the first step. And then how do I fix this is the next step.
Yeah. And gratitude, like you said, that's huge, because we tend to compare ourselves all the time, but we only compare upwards for the most part. We compare the people who had more than we do. But when you really boil it down, like, we're lucky we can see. We're lucky we're not in jail, or we don't have, everybody's got a different situation. Sure. So
these things we take for granted on a daily basis, like having fresh water, man, like a large percentage of the world doesn't have that. When like I can go to the sink and pour up some fresh water for myself. I mean, that's amazing. That's huge. Like oxygen, man. Like everyone has that technically, but I mean, that's just stuff that you don't even think about anytime.
Yeah. We'll just get so I don't want to say spoiled. That comes across a little strong, but we think about, or we don't think about, how we could have, go off the wall here, but we could have giant insects that are going to eat us. But what kind of world are we living? It is our reality, but we have safety where we don't have to worry about our lives on a daily basis.
Right. No, that's true. Like,
and then we worry about the smallest little things.
It's just anxiety, man. Like, anxiety is worrying about the future when you don't have to worry about it. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are going to have bad days in the future. There is a certainty of that. But why worry about it now?
Yeah.
It's in your imagination right now. Sure, like, keep it in your scope of concern of something that may come to fruition, and do whatever you can to prepare it, but focus on what you control. Be at peace with the rest.
What we can control, and you said this earlier, is our perspective, man, because it's like, what you consider a bad day and what I consider a bad day are two different things. We can have the same situations happen to us, and you can say, well, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, someone could ding one of our cars, heaven forbid. Obviously I don't want that to happen, but I'm saying, like, someone could ding your car and one person could be like, swear and blah, 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 and this and that. And it's like stuff like that happens to me now. It's like, this obviously happened for a reason, and who knows, insurance could repaint your whole car. And it's like you get a fresh paint, fresh coat of paint. I had a real life example of this when I was rebuilding my house last year. I had the flooring guys come in and redo the entire floor in my house. And the last thing they did was install the toilet. And when they reinstalled the toilet, a little plastic flange broke in the back and it bleeped all night. And a third of my house had flooded, the brand new floor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And the painters came in the next day and he called me and I'm 2 hours away from the house. So like, I can't really do anything. The painters called me and they're like, hey man, your house is flooded. And immediately I was like, oh, but then like 5 seconds later, something in my head said something good's going to happen from this. And so I was like, look, just turn the water off. I'll figure it out. And called the flooring guys. They came out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, turned out that I had a back and forth with insurance and adjusters and all that stuff. But over the amount of time it took to fix everything, my house's value went up. Obviously, insurance paid for everything that needed to be fixed. I got a third of my house was brand new, essentially. So blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And some people would not think of it like that. Some people would freak out immediately and be like, oh my God, like, but I was like, no, man, like something is going to happen from this. And like, you can do that in any situation.
And it might not happen if you assume the worst. If you don't focus on what you can control, then it might not be okay at all.
Right.
If you don't have hope, at least, that if you at least try, it might work out.
Yeah, man. And I mean, like, not only that, but like, I met some really cool people that helped me out and I helped them out, through the whole situation. And it was really cool, man. Like I think it went ideally, honestly. So, I mean, who knows? The universe works in mysterious ways.
Oh yeah. And while we're on this topic, you see this a lot in sports and video games. People get behind, they start losing, and they don't realize that if they just hold steady, that they could make a comeback.
Yeah, that's true.
For example, I play Rocket League a lot, and I had teammates who try to leave when we were down 1 goal.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of time left. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't believe in yourself.
Right. You helped me. I believed in me.
Yeah, and then all the time, we could be down several goals, and my teammates will try to forfeit all the time. We make comebacks. Yeah, and I've had times when we start winning, and then at the end, just to like spite them, I try to forfeit. One guy who accepted that forfeit, we were about to win with 1 second left. I'm like, okay, all right, back on topic.
Yeah, what have we got?
Guys, next chapter is walk slowly but never backwards.
Okay.
This is the one about how the best is the enemy of the great. If you're trying to be the best and you're not taking daily action towards your goals, you can never be great, because there's a difference between motion and action. And they sound like kind of the same thing, but motion is the preparation. Motion is the strategizing, the thinking, and it doesn't actually move you forward. It can get you ready, but if you're not taking action, you're not getting the experience and the reps, and you're not actually, you can actually make physical changes in your brain by taking action that can help you become a person that you're trying to be.
I know you have an example. Yeah. Tell us about the photographers.
Right. So there was a photography class at the University of Florida, and they divided into 2 different groups. One group, they told them, just take this month and give me the perfect picture, 1 picture at the end of the month. And then they told the other group to make 1 picture per day for 30 days.
So half the class grade was based on quality, 1 picture, and half the class's grade was based on quantity.
Yes.
Okay. So what did we figure out from this?
Well, we figured out that the group that did it every day was way better at the end. Okay. first pictures might not have been very good, but in 30 days, their final product was way better than the ones that spend all of their time thinking or the way it works out with Parkinson's law, they might not have spent all their time thinking and right. They, where it expands to the amount of time you feel it, but
Sure. No, that's so the consistent action proved to be better in the long run than just like the consistent preparation. Yeah. That I can see that in my life for sure.
yeah. Well, I was about to say this is like a loudspeaker just yelling at you and me. Yeah. We got to make content. We just got to do it. We don't got to worry about how good it is.
No, I mean, yeah, it's going to be good. But I mean, I've done a lot of preparation, and every like thing is telling me now, action a bit, and that's I've started to do that, and quick results, man. Like I feel like I've been prepping for so long, and I've got so much to give and so much to say that it's bound to happen, like just by taking action, then it's bound to.
Well, here's the thing that I haven't told you yet that Rick Rubin said is that you can think of your creations as a gift to God, because we are creating to try to help people. And if some people don't like it, they make fun of us, whatever, they may or may not, people all have their own opinions. Sure. We know we are doing it for a greater purpose. So we don't need to, and we can take feedback into account, but we don't need to let it hurt us no matter what anybody says.
Sure. And I'll put it another way. And, I feel, and this is a personal thing, is that we are a small piece with God. Like God created man in his image, essentially, if you want to take it from the Bible. So we were created to be creators. Creator created us to create other things. So if we're not actually creating something, we're not fulfilling our God-given abilities. So, just think about that too, as far as like creating things. And it can be content. It can be whatever gifting you feel you have. It could be childcare. If you want to be a mother or a father, that can be your God-given thing. Create that and do it the best you can. Like whatever it is, create something. Don't just consume.
Right.
Yeah. I've consumed long enough. I'm ready to create.
For sure. Yeah. Just find your purpose in life.
Yeah, man.
And go after it. So next chapter, law of least effort. It talks about how habits are obstacles on our way of getting the things that we want. And the harder those obstacles are, the more friction there is in getting us to do those things. Good. So we can't really rely on motivation, because some days we'll feel like doing them, some days we won't. And we talked about this earlier. You want to remove all that friction. We talked about how with iPhone apps, you can delete or maybe hide ones that you don't need or it might be distracting. Because things like checking your phone, watching TV, spending time with friends, they require little or no motivation.
Right.
And trying to rely on motivation is like trying to force water through a bent water hose. You have two options if you're trying to get that water through that hose. If it's bent, you can just ramp up how much water you're pumping through it, or you can unbend the hose. Yes, the better option was to unbend the hose. And that really comes down to addition by subtraction.
Okay.
Taking things out of your room that might clutter it and get you disorganized, and spending time where you shouldn't be spending, or
subtracting distractions.
Yeah. Or even if you don't want to do junk food, don't buy. Yeah. They save the money, put it towards other things, and you won't have that temptation.
Yeah. And I mean, you had mentioned this earlier. It's not, I don't think it's really in the book, but like take that money you would have spent, right? And put it in an envelope and put it towards something that you really want. Like your example was like a new jacket or a new pair of clothes or whatever, or like a vacation. Do you want to travel? Like, if you want to quit smoking, what would you normally spend on cigarettes? Take that, put it towards something else. Or want to stop drinking alcohol? What would you normally spend going out to a bar? Pay yourself to not go to a bar.
Exactly. That's why things like trying to go without alcohol for 30 days, noble cause, but is not the best strategy, right? What you just said is a much better strategy.
Yeah.
And I actually did that this January. I tried to do dry January and decent success, but towards the end, we kind of gave up, or the people around me gave up. So we, at first, for like the first 3 weeks or so, we had 4 of us doing it. So we each had one exception day.
Okay.
We used as we wanted. Yeah, we had a snow day in there. That was one of the exceptions.
Like, the snow day was sick. This is Georgia, y'all. We don't get snow super often. So, like, it was sick. Like, everybody was vibing.
It's like the perfect amount of snow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like things shut down a little bit, but, like, there was still enough open. Like, we could go to restaurants and go hang out with friends and stuff. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, good times, yeah. But yeah, so obviously, after dry January, I got back into drinking in February, and I actually decided to take the rest of February. I said I'm not going to drink anymore because at the beginning of February it was too much, and that's February 19th is when the caps were worn. I made that deal.
So that's been over a month for you.
Yeah,
That's cool, man. Congrats.
yeah. Well, it's like I don't even feel like it's not like effort or willpower or anything. It's just very cool to see how high that number is going to get.
It is same way.
It's just a matter of how long I live.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, I have the same way. Like, I'm at a point, it's been like 7 months for me since I've had even a sip of alcohol. And for me, it's like I could have a drink with dinner or whatever. But like at this point, it's like, oh yeah, it's been 7 months, but I had a glass of wine. But it's like, just no, like a mocktail or a beer if I want, and then the higher the number, the better in my mind. So yeah, it's a cool little goal to have.
Yeah, and I found that I definitely wasn't an alcoholic, but I had a drinking problem.
Yeah,
I was drinking too much, spending too much money. It was taken away from my goals, and it's not like people have to worry about, oh, we can't talk about it around here, we can't offer a shirt, we can't do it in front of him. Like, do your thing. Like, I'm just at peace.
no, same, exactly the same way. I had people offer me stuff all the time. Like when I first started, I still get it every now and then, but like, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, there were definitely a couple times where I was concerned for myself about whether or not I was an alcoholic. But I just decided one day that I like being sober more. I like my sober brain, at least my sober from alcohol brain. And take that how you want. What you got next, brother?
I was thinking we can take a little break and try to take what we've got and transfer it to the computer.
Okay.
Just to free up that space again. I don't know how we're doing on time, but we can do that or just start talking about the Habasaki, whatever we want to do. Chapter 13.
All right. You just edited out to this far.
Okay, so how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule.
I need this.
Yes. So, we think of habits as small things, small decisions, but they're really decisive moments in our day because they're like the entrance, the exit on a ramp, like of a highway. Once you get on, you keep going. Right. So like the decision between picking up a book or picking up a video game controller can have a massive impact on your day.
And if you miss that exit, you have to go to the limit. It's the wrong turn. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
For sure. So for that reason, it's important to just boil down the things that you want to be doing in the smallest form. Like read one page instead of having the goal of, reading a chapter or even an entire book.
Right. Drive to the gym. You don't even have to work out. Just go to the gym.
Yep.
Do 2 minutes. Leave. Just creating the habit of being there is important.
Yeah, because I heard a story of a girl who was having trouble with that, and her dad was like, just go. Just drive there. You don't even have to walk in the door.
Right.
But it just turned everything around for her.
Well, I mean, you get to the point where you drive to the gym and you're like, well, here, might as well work out. Yeah, then it's like, so, yeah, I mean, you can do that with anything, though. You know, like 1 minute of breath work, 1 minute of meditation, do a half a page of journaling, like one stretch. One stretch, man. Yeah, it's let your tennis shoes on and walk out the door. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, and one thing I really wanted to emphasize is we really underestimate how much time accumulates throughout the entire year. And so like 1 minute per day is 365 minutes a year. And that's about 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so that means 5 hours or 5 minutes is 30 hours and 10 minutes is 60 hours. And because it's a little bit more than actually 6 hours, I did the math of what 30 minutes actually is. It's got 180 hours, which is, if you're awake 16 hours a day, that's 11 and a half entire days out of your year for just 30 minutes a day.
Right.
So one thing is that the average person spends 2 hours and 24 minutes on social media
Every day?
every day. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. But that adds up to 55 entire days of our waking hours per year. 55 days on social media straight.
Jeez, man. Imagine what you could be doing with that time. 55 days? What did we do before? Did we play outside?
Hang out, Beth. I don't even remember those times. What cold was there before? It's
Oh, man. If only TikTok. If only I knew, man. I'm on a different timeline.
yeah. And we could call all that kind of stuff mental candy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And when you remove that from your life, it becomes a whole lot easier to do the healthy things.
Mental nutrition.
Yes.
Mental nutrition is what we need.
Mental nutrients.
Yes. So that's the 2 minute rule. Just starting a habit with basic time, and then that you creating the habit of being there, and then compounding that. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Right. This is a repetition builds it into who we are.
Right. Gotcha.
And so the next chapter is how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. And there was a man named Victor Hugo who was struggling with procrastination. And so he had his assistant lock up all of his clothes. So only the clothes he had on is all he could wear until he finished his book. And because he was forced to focus in on his work, he wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And what they refer to this in the book is a commitment device. So that's any kind of binding situation where you have no choice but to do the thing that you ultimately want to do. Some examples are voluntarily putting yourself on the banned list of a casino, or using accountability apps that send money to your friends or charities if you don't follow through with what you're supposed to do, or spending money on courses and gym memberships so you're financially invested.
Yeah. I mean, like some extremes. Sell your TV or your PlayStation. They'll never, like, get rid of it. Like if it's not there, or like discontinue subscriptions to Netflix.
It's really not that extreme when you get to our age and you're still not happy with where you're at.
Well, I'm just saying, like, walking into somebody's apartment or house and then not having a TV at all. Like, some people might be like, oh, this is a little strange.
Or just like the one in your room. Because I could have a TV in my room right now. I don't want one.
Yeah, I haven't had a TV in my room in years. I refuse. Just like it ruined your sleep, first of all, like, for sure. And second of all, like, no. Like, I mean, it's bad enough I have my phone next to me, and that's another kind of one. Yeah. Like, leave it somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, countless examples. But yeah, that's a good one, man. I mean, like, not having clothes to, like,
Yeah, go watch get good dirty years.
yeah, I mean, like, start to smell after a while, bro. So what other examples do you have?
Well, so this concept really makes the behaviors impractical to do, and that's the whole goal. Is you want it to not make sense to do the bad habits. And another example they use in the book is of this company or this business owner that was in the mid 1800s, and he had a problem with employees stealing from him. And back then, it was really easy to do. You could, they didn't keep records as well. Inventory, I would say, the receipts and it had the money. And he caught on to that. And rather than trying to fire everybody and uproot his whole business, he invested $50, which is kind of a lot at the time, in a new cash register that made it impossibly risky for the employees to continue to steal from him.
This was like the cash registers were like a newer concept.
Yeah,
At a time.
yeah, it was like a new invention that somebody in the same town had actually come up with.
Gotcha.
And his profits went up to like $150,000 if you were to like convert it to what it would be worth today per year. And he actually ended up abandoning that business and going into the cash register business. Well, so the point is that the people didn't change, the circumstances changed.
Right.
And we need to make technology work for us and not against us.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, it's like you can use Instagram for scrolling, doom scrolling, or you can use it to create content or follow other creators that are in your niche and learn from them. Right.
Definitely. Yeah. And you want everything automated as much as possible. You want to have less temptation less choices to make.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
So moving on to the next chapter, the cardinal rule of behavioral change. And the example they use in this one is a town in Pakistan, and they just had really horrible conditions. Everything was dirty, the water was dirty, and they were getting sick. And Procter & Gamble had an initiative to get them some specially designed soap. And that soap was really satisfying to use. It just bubbled up in the right way, the texture, and they all loved it. And because the problem was they weren't routinely washing their hands. They knew what to do. They knew it was good for them, but the problem was the consistency. And so once they had the soap that they actually enjoyed using, they built that routine and it stuck with them.
Right.
And the long-term effects of that were really, really beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying products made it more satisfying to do the activity.
Exactly. And that's what it takes at first.
Right.
Because at first, you're not going to see the immediate benefits of what you're doing. So you need those immediate satisfactory results.
Immediate rewards.
Yeah, sure. That instant gratification, but it's a net positive based on the habit you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So you want to rope in the net positive rewards into the habits you want to implement.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
And toothpaste brands did the same thing by adding flavors to their toothpaste. So people actually enjoyed the taste of it, and it's cleaning their mouth and fighting cavities and all kinds of other stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the bottom line is that what is rewarded is repeated and what is punished is avoided.
That makes a lot of sense, man. Yeah.
So the brain prioritizes the immediate rewards over punishments that are potentially coming in the distance. I got you. Like, why would anyone ever smoke if they know it raises the risk of lung cancer?
Well, immediate reward. You get that nicotine fix. You don't really think about years down the road. Exactly at that point, right?
Yeah, and knowing is not a certainty, all that. But
yes,
the brain just tends to prioritize the present moment.
Well, it's a good thing, and once you become aware of that, then you can use it to your benefit.
Yeah,
that's good.
And that's why we as humans, we can't really rely on just good intentions, because we want what's best, but when given the choice, you do what you want to do right now and maybe have consequences later, you just can't do that.
Right. For sure.
So you got to make a plan.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a long time, man.
Yeah. The road less traveled.
Let's do it, man. Let's gratificate. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's take that path. I'm all about it. Ready.
Let's see. We've already talked about how, you don't really see the immediate rewards, the healthy body, the money in the bank account, the followers on the social media, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've already talked about quitting bad habits. We talked about the 30-day alcohol thing. So let's move on to the next chapter. This is the last one we're going to go over today. How to stick with good habits every single day. So there's an example of a salesman who had 120 paper clips in a single cup, and then he had another cup that was empty. And what he would do is every time he made a sales call, he would move a paper clip over until he had done all 120 of paper clips. And that's what he did every day. And that's what held him accountable to making every single sales call that he was supposed to do a single day. And he was one of the most successful salesmen at the company. And so there's a lot of variations of that. You could do it in any different way you want. But what he's doing there is he's habit tracking. And habit tracking is one of the best, most effective ways to make progress because it checks the boxes on almost everything that we've mentioned before. Like it makes it obvious. It makes you honest and aware about what you're actually doing compared to just, if you're slacking off, you might not see it visually of just how bad things are getting, right? Or how much more you could be doing. It makes it attractive. It motivates us. It makes it satisfying. And it gives us proof that we are in the right direction. So, you heard of the Seinfeld method?
Maybe is that like, what does it entail?
Well, it's basically this. He had a calendar and every day he did what he was supposed to do, which is write jokes. Well, first of all, his process for that was he would block off time, and his rule was I can do whatever I want. Like I could work or I could just sit here. Then that's all I can do. So that, I can make that choice, but it's either work or just sit here.
Right.
And every day that he made progress, he put a red X on his calendar. And his rule was, I'm never going to break the chain. I'm never going to have 2 days in a row where I break this chain. And like we just mentioned, it's all those motivating factors for why that helps you become successful. But it's just the consistency that produces that, like him to having the #1 show.
Yeah, man, that's huge. Yeah. So, what I guess the thing I picked up from the paperclip example you gave of the sales calls and stuff like that is we mentioned this many times before. It's just like the consistency. The guy figured out how many calls he has to make a certain amount of money that he wants to make, and he worked backwards. And he said, I guess 120 is what I want to do right now in order to meet my goal. And so he would make the call regardless of if he made the sale or not. He would move the paper clips over, and doing 120 calls resulted in his sales goals that he wanted. So it's just, that's how we stay consistent. There's plenty of ways to do that. You can get a whiteboard and you can fill out, like the habit that you want, and then like the days of the week, and you can hex it out. That's a really good way to do it. There's apps out there that will do habit tracking for you. I don't know. Do you know anyone specific?
Yeah, there's one called Habit.
There you go. See, this guy knows, man. This guy's a really good one. So you could use the Habits app to track your habits. I like seeing it as kind of like a role-playing video game where you are building your character. You're building your avatar, and every skill point that you adds to you leveling up. And that's, essentially is what we're doing in the game of life. And so the habits that you want to start implementing, you can track them in like video game form.
Yeah.
And then like you can even make it even fun, like more fun, where it's like, I've done this for this many days. Let me reward myself as a level up type thing. So, that's kind of like a fun way to look at it, I guess. So
Perfect. I'm glad you said that, and that's something that I've wanted to do for a while. That make a great YouTube video too.
It would.
But we're wrapping up here. This is the last chapter that we had today, and the rest of the book just goes into more advanced techniques. But my kind of closing thing that I wanted to say here was that everything that we mentioned can be designed and manipulated to do whatever works best for you. As individuals, we have different things that work for us, and that's the beauty of this. It's your canvas. You can design it exactly how you want to. Make your life art, but just whatever you do, don't just go through life without ever questioning what you're doing and if you could do anything to make yourself happier. Because, I feel like pretty much all of us could.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always something that's going to be a motive for us to, I guess, go towards our goals or start implementing something new. And I mean, like, variety is the spice of life, man. If you want to try something new, try something new. It's just going to expand you as a human, And so, like, if you're wanting to try, meditation or the new workout routine, like, go for it and use habit stacking and, the principles in this book to propel you forward.
Yeah. No matter who you are, you can make use of the things that we've talked about here. So,
And the next book we're gonna talk about is psycho-cybernetics. So make sure you check that out as well. You can start reading along if you like. We're gonna cover that probably over the next couple of weeks, and that's about improving your self-image. So highly recommend it. And if you have any recommendations for books you'd like to hear us talk about, list them in the comments. Also, like, share, follow. It helps us out immensely just by doing that. It takes no money or time. All you got to do is click, and that would be highly appreciated. Follow me on Instagram at BallerDave04 if you like as well. It had anything else, Blake?
that's pretty much it. Just, hit us up in the comments. Let us know which of these are your favorite. Well, what's your favorite things that you've learned? What are you going to try to implement in your own life? And we're excited. We're excited to keep going with this and learning new things. Psycho-cybernetics.
Yeah, man, we look forward to seeing you next time.